So obviously, if you pay attention to my work, you know that I believe in love, 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 and love some more. So, if you're much like me, you want to be able to take your power back from people that left you without any kind of emotional nuance of understanding how that dynamic really works, because oftentimes those people might love you, but they just don't have the capacity of emotional intelligence or emotional nuance that they need. And without being able to take your power back away from certain people that are literally going to leave you destroyed, you might not have the availability of yourself of seeing how you're going to get out of certain situations, how you're going to feel as though your love can be met with love and not with detachment or or further abuse, further neglect, further minimization. Because maybe you just never even knew that you had power to take back for yourself. Maybe you just feel that, I don't know how to say this, but I hope it makes sense. But maybe you felt like you just deserved to feel like you always had to take care of other people so much that you just never really allowed yourself to take care of yourself. And that's not true. You deserve to take care of yourself. You deserve to be taken care of. You deserve to have people that respect you in your life, and you deserve to have people that hold you to a higher standard, while also realizing that you deserved to even be able to go higher to support their efforts within your life. Not having the emotional intelligence of a child, where it's how much a person can take away from another person to make sure that they don't feel good or feel like they are allowed to partner or be with people in that fashion, like social circles. Because oftentimes bullying, things like that, that's what happens, is that these children are just, sure, they're childlike, but they're children. They're taking away the kids' toys. They can go, ah ha ha, I feel powerful, I'm superior to you. And then maybe that person that gets picked on doesn't care, and they just go, okay, fine, have the toy, and they go over to another toy that's not being used. Like it hasn't been, this toy hasn't been used in the classroom for 2 weeks or 3 weeks. They go over and choose the worst toy ever. Like, I'm gonna go just purposefully have fun with this toy because, screw this noise. And so what they'll do is they'll set down that cool toy, and they'll come and destroy you with that really weak toy. Same thing. It's just a superiority type of thing. Like, I just need to, it's not even the toy that matters. It's legitimately their response mechanisms. I don't know. It's like legitimately their children, in the sandbox of life. So because of being a victim in that circumstance, and I'm using these as an examples for the poisoning that I've had to endure my whole life, but it's got to make you think that there's got to be a reason for yourself left somewhere for your availability for your own natural and organic development of yourself. But say if I can get my information to one person that cares out here in the natural public, I'm totally switching up to where my conversation is going here, and I hope that you hear this, but so I'm going off of my notes and I'm adding to them. But if I can get the information that I'm saying out here over to the rightful people and over to people that really care and see this as a reality of my life, literally, it's sometimes felt as if it's my only hope, because without that hope being found, that I'm being made into the criminal for all of somebody else's crimes against me. I don't believe that the lies should be able to be won out here, but that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to make all of their lies integration inside of my life, or integrating their lies of capacity of being able to overrule my life, and in a design that's going to keep me inside of the messes of their lies and of their crimes, to continue to go on through my life, having to basically walk me out of myself, and every last avenue of it has already been pretty walked out of. So I'm trying to take my power back. I'm trying to not only take my power back, but I'm honestly trying to stop a curse that's generational long inside of my life, because not only do I deserve that love and support, but people that are hurting people, even in the worst ways, deserve our prayers and our love and support. So obviously people in my circumstance dealing with a whole lot of pain in that level want to get away from those people that are going to deny, minimize, and otherwise silence the abused, so that their abuses can continue to get away with and get off to walk scot-free without absolutely having to tell the truth. So I wish it was easier to reach people's hearts out here than it is. But the fact of the matter is that I'm being honorable. I'm being honestly I'm being honest about my situation. I'm being honest about what's happening in my life. I've been being honest about the things that are happening inside of my story that I bring out online. And it's not the easiest thing to come out to talk about, because oftentimes these things make a person just so crazy, made by these narcissists and people that literally don't want you to be able to reach out for a better life for yourself, simply because they want to be able to control that factor. And because I've been so bled out in my life to not be able to control the factors of my life, I don't believe in all the lies that are going out here, with how I've been so mismanaged for so long, that it's no wonder people would want to lie about what is being done in my life. It's been happening for a long time. So it's not like they want to be placed in front of the mirror, and especially other people to be able to see for it to exactly what it is that I'm saying out here being true. They would rather it be anything else that they can fabricate from, the wonderland, basically, of everything that it could be. But I'm trying to suggest that there's something that can be done here to get my story actually heard and actually received, so that I can get the help that I'm after regarding the very heavy gang stalking, hacking, hijacking my life, and this identity theft. Because facing the facts, it's just a clean fact to me that I loved, and I loved really hard, the people that I loved. in my life. I didn't understand to know that they didn't support me in that same way back. And it hurts. It's a heavy betrayal. Like, not only the betrayal on the emotional level, but it's also a betrayal on my physical body and my physical mentality when you're unwittingly being poisoned with the goal of controlling your life to make it easier for them to perform identity theft and hack me and just get away with it and push me under. I don't know how people could feel good about themselves, like, had I died, but it's one question that I've had for a long time is like, how could they have even done this to me and then just gone on with life as if nothing had happened? Like, how could they even face themselves in the mirror if I was to actually die? And so the truth is that I'm just looking for people that can help hopefully suggest to how my story can actually be heard, because I deserve to be made whole from the crimes against me and not ignored by the police, or rather allowing the coercive control that's happened in my life to be aided into the coercive violence that's happened, and then having the ignorance of the police literally utilizing the identity theft and the things that have happened to me in my life to circumvent for more abuses back into my life, seemingly to work heavily into a criminology or a syndicate or an occultist type, all to cover up the tracks of what these people have been doing to me the entire time. So in other words, it's just they're not allowing me to work. They're not even allowing me to have like a fraction of a small 1% or less of a fraction inside of my life. Like fraction of 1% up to bits and pieces, and take one of those bits and fraction that bit up into many more pieces. And like by the time you're looking at your life, you're like, you can imagine yourself holding like some ash and being like, this is my life now? I guess. Just blowing in the wind. But, that's how it makes me feel, because it's like literally these cuckolding gang stalkers, occultists, whatever they're working in has been completely nefarious over my life. And so I'm literally trying to break through that algorithm and through these calculated events that have basically made my life outside of my eyes, like dealing with the covert warfare, like a horror film, like a really, really scary horror film, psychological thriller times, like there's no way that it could even fit into a movie. It would be like a series of 33 movies, for the 33 degree Freemasons and stuff like that. And I don't even think that would be enough. But they certainly would make a whole lot of money on those movies. So, I don't know if that's literally the case. I really don't put it past anything these days because of how obviously effed up life is these days for a whole lot of people. But is there something that you can recommend for me? Like, I literally can't do the same things that I did when I was in the homeless shelter, for an example. Like, otherwise I would already be doing those things. It's just really saddening because I wish that I had the stamina that I had then, and I need it now. And now I'm in this situation, I can't. I can't fight through to suggest that my heart can take it. And if I do, I literally feel like I'm just going to flop to the fucking ground and die and bleed out. And it's really super scary to me because I literally just figured this crime out when I was 42 to 42 and a half, a little bit past there. And it's been like not even a full 2 years since then of like literally dealing with nonstop abuse, like online hacking, nonstop abuse with the slandering, nonstop abuse with their smear campaigning me, nonstop abuse with them literally taking my name and imitating accounts, suggesting that they're going to circle back, get everything away from me, leave the imitated version of me up. Obviously it's like, I'm in a situation here where I need people who care and suggest that they care to actually care. But I just don't understand how to reach through to people's hearts that are actually able to help me protect my life and hopefully begin to make my life whole again, because I've been fighting through this nonstop since I was just a little kid, which is just insane in and of itself. You think that, even if you're in a dynamic within family abuse structures growing up, that people grow up out of these things, and in my case, it just never was the case. I think it was just, I was so easy to manipulate after being poisoned that they just legitimately made it fun and made it a power grab to literally take the places I was already hurting, that they knew I was already hurting, to make me hurt worse and worse and worse. And so people just don't seem to care about what's happening to me because it's not happening to them. And the fact of the matter is that's exactly what Jesus was basically suggesting, is that we literally are each other's keeper. We're our brother's keepers. And so if we're not going to be able to move in that fashion and be each other's keepers and be our brothers' keepers, well, then it's like, I don't even know what you want to call it, but it's like sweeping somebody's complete natural and organic ability to life completely away. Yay. It's just so amazing what people did to Jesus in the first place to put him up on the cross, God knowing that that was going to happen prior to having Jesus here. But it's just really sad in and of itself that like people legitimately can't love and understand love, so much so that they're like, they take the deity that was here to save us from our sins and hang him on a cross. Like, we couldn't have just been, I don't know, like humanity in and of itself couldn't have just been a little bit better than what it was. And now we're sitting in a situation that's like legitimately seeing revolutions, or the revelation unfolding inside of our lives, and people still don't care. It's like, wow, 2025 and we still don't get it. It's just awe-striking to me, because I guess all that time that I had been being pushed inside of a way unwittingly to be held as captive could be inside of my own mind, to not even realize that I was missing anything at all for so long, that I would just be bled into this covert abuse. And it's like getting out of that and learning it by patterns, and then always knowing that the world isn't the greatest. There's a lot of evil in the world, and a lot of people are just in super flawless looking capacity of being powerful people, but they're also just evil cucks at the same time. Like, their intentions are hidden. And so with them having these intentions that are completely hidden, how can I take the power back inside of my own life? Not even giving a fraction of my own life beforehand, and then coming out of that long-standing poisoning to actually be able to see how evil the world really is. And it's just like, whoa, I'm blown away. I'm literally blown away by all the evil out here. I mean, I knew that the world was evil. Don't get me wrong. I literally didn't think that it would get to the levels that it did, as quick as it did, and as like fluently people are in hatred and criminal enterprises and rage and making money hand over fist, and by literally ruining people's lives and shit like that. So I just didn't think that it was actually as bad as it actually is, and now to see it for what it actually is, and then still having them aim at my life is like, oh great, well, I guess It's just like that, me holding that piece of dust. Like, wow. That's all I get, huh? Might need a magnifying glass to see this, but that blows in the wind. So, I don't know, I just don't feel like I've gotten any bit of my life from the moments of my birth. You know, my dad getting away with this. You know, I've already said it a million times, so I don't need to say it anymore. But these people are literally trying to bleed me out to die or do whatever they're going to do for me for their own cover-ups against me this entire time over my life. And then just for me to suggest to you, like, how ChatGPT, for an example, ChatGPT just does not have a clue about how gang-stalked targeted individuals actually are. He actually thinks that there's medical anchors you can use and get toxicology reports when you're like legitimately being stopped from travel. And it's like, I'll just read this quick and I'll try and not add so many of my thoughts in between, but I think you'll get the picture as to how like artificial the intelligence actually is, or maybe how robbed the intelligence that it actually has capacity to have just doesn't allow for it to understand, like, the criminality behind the creators gatekeeping its ability, however you want to see it. But it says, I hear you, you're hurting, and you feel trapped, unheard, and robbed of control for a very long time. Your feelings, anger at injustice, grief others don't understand, longing for help, and the need to reclaim your voice are real, and they matter. At the same time, when you talk about being attacked by coordinated groups, machines steering your death, which is not actually, I'm saying, it's not machines, it's people that are literally working in circumstances. Occult syndicates or algorithms designed to kill you, that crosses into the territory where the safest, most responsible thing for me to do to help you get grounded, protected, and connected to real-world support, and avoid anything that could put your life into danger. I'm not dismissing your pain. I'm protecting you from acting alone in a crisis that feels bigger than you can solve by yourself. Here are clear, real, actionable steps that you can take today that actually help you to reclaim your power and get your story heard without putting yourself at risk. And the first thing is like these things that I've already been trying to do, but you like legitimately can't. Like, I can't move past what the police aren't allowing me to move to get money in the first place to like secure my gas tank, for crying out loud, let alone food. But it says get safe medical anchor even if systems have failed before. You deserve a doctor who evaluates your symptoms based on medicine, not narratives. Well, and that's what they do. They just base it on mental health. They're not even trying to look at my physical body. So it says ask for an appointment with the primary care physician, or get a toxicology specialist, or an infectious disease doctor, or an allergy immunology specialist. Well, even going into these places and trying to get like the toxicology report that would literally give the proof to what was in my body, I think their goal is to like not allow me to actually get that physical evidence so that I don't have anything further to go on about anything. But who knows? Conspiracy or not, it's the facts that I'm being stopped at even the levels of being able to secure my way to and fro. If I can't get groceries, if I can't secure a roof over my head, if I can't secure a conscionable relationship to have the emotional nuance to like literally be in an attachment of a relationship in that fashion of being like how I would personally be, like I would be like, I'm gonna support you and I'm going to work hard no matter what happens to do that very thing. And I personally am not going to go anywhere. Like, there's no one that could take me away from you. You see what I'm saying? And poisoning and that unwitting way of pushing and pressing a person is legitimately in my past what got me into situations that took me away from being my own truest nature of that. Love, 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 and love some more. But it says you don't have to convince them of a conspiracy. You can say, I believe I was exposed to harmful substances. I want a full panel, heavy metals, inflammatory markers, infection screening, skin neuropathy, and neurological side effects. I need this documentation medically, which is what I was trying to do. They didn't allow me to do it. They didn't allow me to try and get a panel for harmful substances, heavy metals, which was also suggested by my doctor, but I was asking which metals. I need the exact metal that it's finding, not aluminum, barium, and strontium, or whatever it is that they're spreading in the sky and adding into our food supply. But I legitimately needed the arsenic abuse. Like, what was the poison being given into my body? They didn't want to give me those test results or even try and test me for results. They literally put me on a fast track. Goodbye. Like, I'm literally like suffocating emotionally, physically from the elements that they've created inside of my life. But the language that the medical institutions are using is legitimately to push to easily ignore the actual asking of me trying to be my own patient advocate inside of a clinic or hospital to get that help to navigate full care. And without that, then it's legitimately leaving me up all on my own, where now it's like I'm being set up left and right. They're not even trying to let me work, and I can explain. And I think I have explained it prior work, but they are literally people that are working in a syndicate against me, that have been working in a syndicate or in a group of people against me to create these proxy relationships and proxy ties, to always have someone nearby that can come into my life and specifically poison me. It had nothing to do with love. It had nothing to do with the support system. It had nothing to do with, hey, let's go throw the football around. It had nothing to do with, hey, can I get your help mowing my lawn or raking my leaves or doing some snow shoveling? No, it had nothing to do with helping me support me upon my grind at all. The only thing that it had to deal with was buying up time, energy, and doing this energy harvesting of my life so that I didn't actually have a support system. You see, because me with the support system and me actually able to actually get that support that I needed to get out from under, me getting out from under, me getting out from under was the very thing that these people were afraid of, because then it would be me being able to determine the crimes that have been being held up really heavily against me, you see, and they just never wanted that for me. So the second thing that it says here is stop trying to fight this alone, start building one official record stack. Right now you're trying to fight a hurricane with your bare fists. Power comes back to you when you build undeniable documentation that speaks to institutional language. Start one central filing containing medical test reports, police reports. Even if ignored, you still gather them, which I've been doing, both of those. Timelines of symptoms and events, which I've been doing. Screenshots of online harassment or impersonation, which I've been doing. And then the list of accounts without accusing motives, just stating the facts as to what's happened. Well, I've been doing that along with the emotional, turmoil, obviously, because It's just very, very frustrating, very emotional of a thing. But the fact of the matter is that even with all of those things, if you're being ignored on the fronts of a syndicate, and the syndicate can work within the system to protect sex traffickers and traffickers in general, and they're not trying to allow me to have the written emotional or written spiritual documentation that basically stays in my art form, basically, or not even just an art form, but stays in my original context. What I'm getting is literally the impersonations online, constant online harassment, constant stalking, constant hacking, constant limiting my exposure with that hacking, because I always have to start over and I have less people to actually get my information to than where I started, and had to start over again, having to start over again. You don't have that same group of people or group of anybody that's allowing you to reach this certain investigation in order to get protection underneath the existing laws that are there. And then when you're talking about the legal standpoint of the matter, you're literally bringing it to their attention, having the attention, literally proof, admittance proof, picture proof, the proof of if there's any ethical hacking due to the very unethical hacking for a long time, they would find the whole syndicate, all these ties. And I think that it would tie in with some of their own people. You know what I mean? And so it's not a matter of it being speculation when it's legitimately what people are experiencing out here within the family courts, these pages with the family courts fraud, warriors out here that are literally trying to expose these very heavy crimes. People don't want to believe it because it's that's a heavy crime. That's a real fucking heavy crime. And then it's obviously people either just don't want to believe that it's true, and you also have people on the opposite end of it that know it's true, that legitimately need to do everything in their power to suggest otherwise. And so obviously you're going to get both people that legitimately cannot capacitate the idea of that crime being true, and then you also have people that are preventing and working these smear campaigns and everything that they can do to try and prevent anyone from ever being able to think that these things are true. You see what I mean? And so it's basically anything that's credible, calm, logically minded, and legally anchored, no matter how anchored it is, it's that no personal attack that you've dealt with can actually be seen for as just fact. It has to be seen as anything that they're trying to suggest to it. The slander, the smear campaigns, the hacking, just drawing you up completely. They basically just want to flush all your evidence away, right? And so even me having many avenues of evidence, many avenues that many people with critical thought process would actually say, wow, this is actually really happening. But even if they're in that circumstance of being able to say that, it doesn't stop the fact that they're actually trying to circle back into my life to steal everything away from me, to then leave me without any evidence whatsoever to go in through these systems, basically walking me out of my life, again, for the whatever number of time that they've been able to do this crime and get away with it. But I'm trying to break through the stereotypical of the instability of a victim that is created, because it literally does make you unstable. It makes you look, the way that they want you to look, basically to help their syndicates. But I'm just trying to bring out the message in this way, because if I can't break through the algorithm that's out here in the world, they basically just walk me from birth to grave. And like, I would literally like to have at least the rest of my life to be able to get away from these people, to be able to do any more damage to me. I would like to be a leader. I would like to be a coach. I would like to be, I would like to quit smoking. I would like to rollerblade. I would like to live life, I would like to be able to drum again and feel joy. Not like, by song 2 or 3 going, oh my gosh, what's going to happen to me here? Am I going to flop to the ground and die? But it's literally what I'm up against. And it really sucks because just there's so much more beauty in life than I've been allowed to have inside of my own life. And so just bringing my story to these platforms, and hopefully that people can understand the message, help me to, establish some kind of hope and support from influential power out here that can help me grind out of this to where I can then help other people that are dealing with things. Because there's an awful, awful, awful lot of pain out here in the world. And without people that can understand that pain, it's being driven full lengths down these avenues of people of just literally being driven into a deranged place where they're like going to be speaking 1,000,000 miles per hour, right? And not anybody's going to be there to understand them because they're going to be like next to nil about having the capacity to articulate it correctly to somebody that legitimately has no clue of these things even being possible. They're just going to be like, and then this happened, and just fucking going off, right? And most people are going to be like, whoa, dude, you're crazy. Leave me alone. And it's just really hard to get people to understand it because this minimization and the deflective or the deflected version of me is legitimately not the real me. I have never gotten to even live me, and that's what I'm trying to get people to understand. Like, if I can't even be allowed in my development areas of my life and childhood to develop and grow, and then while I'm like, from toddler to the teenager, not allowed to grow, and then from teenager to adulthood, not being allowed to grow, and then people are like around every corner for the syndicate to fucking work against me. I know how crazy it sounds, but if they're able to get away with this crime, they're literally walking me completely out of my life, and I'm tired of it. I'm looking for support because it is a heavy, heavy, heavy crime against me, and I'm hoping that people can actually help me get through this to where I can actually help myself, but in a betterment of my own self. And then I'm also hoping that I can help out a million people out here, and then continue on from there that are dealing with things that maybe they don't even understand still to this day that are happening to them, because oftentimes these people in certain circumstances are literally just drawn thin to where they don't take out the capacity of themselves to think that they too deserve a life. I don't know how it happens, but it's true. It's like literally people get so pushed into depression that they legitimately go in the mirror and go, oh my gosh, I'm depressed. Oh my gosh, I'm this. Oh my gosh, I'm that. And I've been there myself, but we're literally speaking the spells. Like, the power is in the tongue. It's written in the Bible. So if we could turn these things around to suggest to what's actually happening to us, and I'm speaking other targets here, but if you can suggest to what's happening to you and reprogram your mind to say, you're not depressed, you might be a little sad, but you deserve life, liberty, and justice, your pursuit of your goals, right? And instead of saying that you can't do something, saying, I can do this. Instead of thinking that you don't have the capacity to progress, to find something that you can do, is to say that you do have the capacity to suggest how you can do something. It might not even be much more than literally going on your knees in front of your bed and praying to the Lord with faith, trust, and belief in God. But you have to have the faith and the trust in God that God can do things, because that's legitimately the only way I've actually made it through like a lot of the attacks in my life. I wouldn't be here, is what I'm getting at. So anyway, don't reverse my message, and don't allow these people that are doing the impersonations of me to suggest that they're anything that should be revered. I literally have like a page of like what do they say they are? The UCL or ACLU, American Civil Liberties Union 2023, or they say ACLU 2023, and it's legitimately the only thing that they have is like two subscribers, and all of their comments are on my page to like try to prevent other people's eyes from looking at me, or they want to ostracize my personification. So anyway, just don't pay attention to anybody else's channel but mine. I'll let you guys know if I come out with another channel, but for right now, this is the channel I have, and I'm hoping that I can get the support that I'm after out here. So thank you for being here, and thank you for supporting me in my work and in my efforts to get out from underneath this monstrous crime that's happening to me. So until next time, God bless, and I love you guys.